This is a production of PBS Charlotte.
This week on Off the Record, Mecklenburg's stay-at-home order ends, North Carolina's stay-at-home order extends, and in Gaston County, well, we're still trying to figure it out. We'll talk about mixed messages and what some are calling distancing fatigue. Also, racing gets the green flag here in the Carolinas, virus or no virus, as NASCAR says no fans, no problem. And what about the RNC? City Council votes yes for convention funding despite doubts about the convention itself. All that plus the shooting at UNC Charlotte 1 year later, and our off-the-record question of the week, all next on PBS Charlotte. Hi, I'm Jeff Sonnier. This is Off the Record, where we talk about the stories you've been talking about this week. And if you watch the news, read the news, or listen to the news, well, you'll recognize the names and faces, not around our table, but joining us from their kitchen tables, dining room tables, home offices, or wherever, for now at least. Dedrick Russell from WBTV, Mark Becker from WSOC-TV, Eli Portillo from the UNC Charlotte Urban Institute, and Ashley Fay from the Charlotte Business Journal. Thanks all for joining us this week, again, remotely. And thank you at home for joining us as well. You can join our conversation. Just email your questions and comments to offtherecord@wtvi.org. Hope you all are well and healthy and sticking with us here for the next half hour or so. We'll talk a little bit about NASCAR and about the RNC in a minute, but I want to talk about the changes in the orders and the orders that haven't changed this week when it comes to stay at home. I guess the most significant change is Mecklenburg County deciding to get in line with the state and not have its own separate stay-at-home order. They allowed theirs to expire this week, and I want to talk a little bit with you all about what changes for people living and working in Mecklenburg County now with just the state rules in place and not the additional county rules.
Yeah, well, I think I'll jump in here. I was attending virtually the police department's press conference, for example, and about 3 weeks ago, they arrested 8 protesters outside a women's clinic in Charlotte. And that wouldn't happen, in theory, under the state's guidelines, because those kinds of gatherings outside, socially distanced, are permissible. Under Mecklenburg County's guidelines, they weren't. So that's one very obvious thing there. And so police are having to adjust. The parks, of course, opening again. There is, a little bit more leeway in that regard. And I know there are businesses, and I think this is probably the thing that most people will latch onto. There are some businesses that now can operate more normally, for lack of a better word. Now, there's still a bunch that can't, but I think home goods type stores are able to open, and of course real estate. And I think that's Ashley's lane there. But yeah, I mean, there are some things, and we're beginning to see the thaw probably. And the thaw is going to take a lot longer than the freeze did. I'm sure about that.
Yeah. So you talked with the realtors, and you say they're pretty happy about this decision.
Yeah, the Mecklenburg County order has always been more restrictive, especially on the real estate services front, because the state's order does allow brokerage as an essential business, which means realtors and commercial real estate brokers can do their business in person, obviously following CDC guidelines, social distancing, things like that. But with Mecklenburg's order, only very few circumstances could that be allowed. So actually about a week ago, the president of the Canopy Realtor Association wrote a letter to the county saying, we need these restrictions lifted. We need to just follow the state order. There are potential home buyers knocking on sellers' doors and asking to see homes because real estate agents are saying, well, we can't really show you them in person. So they advocated very strongly for that and are very relieved that we are now following the state order because, as I said, brokerage is allowed as an essential business.
Wasn't the change by the county a little bit unexpected? I didn't get the sense that everyone knew the county was going to let this order expire, but I'm wondering what led them to change their minds when it came to these local orders.
The county manager, Dina Diorio, did say last week she did intend to extend the order, the county's order, to match the state's if and when the governor decided to do that. And once he did say to May 8th, at least, we will be extending the state order, she did say several times that we do intend to extend that. But I believe there were some conversations with the county attorney in that all the municipalities in Mecklenburg County have to have consensus. And I do believe the town of Matthews had a vote on this, and they preferred to follow the state's order versus the county's order. And so I don't believe there was consensus to have the Mecklenburg County's order extended.
Yeah. And it all makes sense, because if the governor comes out with May 8th, it makes sense to me for everybody to be on the same page, so there won't be no little I's and big U's and things like that. So I guess that when the governor, he is listening to experts and health leaders, these are the people we have put in charge of our health and of our lives, so to speak. So if the governor comes out and laid out his plan, that we're going to open up in different phases, once the numbers are going in the right direction, then this can open, then this will be allowed. And I just think that it would just makes things easier for the people to understand that if everybody is on the same page, then I know what I can do. It makes sense to me.
And some commissioners did say that, but then some others were saying, well, this feels all political. We should be listening to the county public health department to make our decisions. So there's definitely a division of opinions on the board with that.
Yeah, and I think that really hints at the kind of confusing nature of this for people in the public who are trying to keep track of what's allowed, what's recommended, what's required. If you look at, I know we're going to talk about Gaston County a little bit, but if you look at the region, potentially you've got rules from the state, rules from Mecklenburg County, which are now in line with the state, but rules in Gaston County, rules in South Carolina, and then you combine those with the federal guidelines for things like social distancing and what the CDC is recommending, and you've got 5 or so similar but slightly different sets of what businesses can be open, where people should go, what kind of gatherings you should do. And people out there are really, especially being on the border like we are with another state, having to keep track of a lot of stuff. Googling, is tennis allowed? Can I go for a run on this greenway? Are the parking lots open now? So I think it's getting tough for people, and that's one reason you're seeing people try to keep the messaging more simple.
Yeah, you mentioned South Carolina, by the way. The governor there, Governor McMaster, extended their stay-at-home rules until the 12th of May, but they're also opening state parks this weekend. So a little bit different than in North Carolina. But you touched on what I think most of us have heard a lot about this week, and that's Gaston County. It's hard not to chuckle a little bit because of what I call mixed messaging that's coming specifically out of their their county officials, county leaders. What the heck is going on over there anyway?
Yeah, right. I mean, Gaston County, the Gaston County commissioner came out and said, we're gonna. I don't know if they said in so many words. I wasn't at the virtual news conference, but essentially, we're going to defy the governor. We're going to do what we think we need to do. The question is, can you do that? I mean, what's the law? And pretty quickly, all of the municipalities in Gaston County, Gastonia, Belmont, and the others came out and said, no. We're not going along with that. And the police fell right in line with that. I mean, confusing is just the beginning of it. And I think in terms of an enforcement, that's very complicated for police and law enforcement or whoever's going to be involved there. I mean, just a mess, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
In the actual order, though, even when they issued it at the press conference, if you read it, it actually does say the state order is in place and that must be adhered to. But then the commissioners were saying, or at least one of the commissioners was saying, we're going to stand by you if you decide to open. Yeah. So I think there were a lot of also business owners that were confused. Some were saying, oh yeah, we're going to open today. Sounds like we can do it. But then there was a press conference by the state later that day where they said, well, actually, we still have the state order in place. And that, Gaston police did say they would enforce it. So some business owners then said, well, no, we're not going to open now. But certainly there was a lot of confusion, I think.
Yeah. And what sense does that make? I mean, here, I'm thinking now the people who you vote in office now are the people who will, your life is at their mercy of the people who you vote in office. And so people are saying that this was just a political stunt. And so now there is a change.org. There's a petition petition now for Tracy Philbeck to resign immediately. 1,500 is the desired amount. And so far, I'm looking at it right now, more than 1,000 people have already signed this. You know, they said that the county commissioner intentionally misled the public by stating that he would be taking part in the signing of an executive order. So, you know, if you didn't think politics was in it, now politics is in it, because now people are looking at, you know, you are put in charge to lead us. So how can you say one thing and then, you know, hours later you take it back? I mean, what type of leadership is that? And so now, you know, it'd be interesting. Will he pay for that decision when you have this, you know, asking him to resign immediately?
You know, I think in a lot of ways, this kerfluffle was really a microcosm of what we might have to look forward to over the next few weeks and months. You've got, you know, people demanding we open, people demanding businesses stay closed, government officials and scientists on different sides of the divide sometimes. And, you know, that was just in Gaston County, one county with 12 municipalities in North Carolina. Look at what we're going to have over the next few months. We're going to have 50 states reopening in different ways, some of them doing it differently in different places. Like in Florida, for example, you have beaches closed in the Miami-Dade area where they've been hardest hit, open in other areas. California has had conflicts like that as well. So this real patchwork and, you know, back and forth, who's right, I think is going to be probably a defining feature of the next few weeks and months as we try to navigate this.
Yeah, the confusion of Gaston County might be all of our confusion eventually as we move forward here. By the way, the question of the week kind of touches on this particular issue. We asked our friends on Facebook, Governor Cooper says ending North Carolina's stay-at-home order too soon will undo progress controlling the virus outbreak. That's what the governor says. But critics say it's time to reopen businesses and restore jobs. What do you think? The responses on Facebook, 75% say yes, the current North Carolina virus restrictions should stay in place. It's a public health issue. 25% say no, we've slowed the virus as best we can. Now let's start getting back to normal. So at least this one little snapshot of viewers and friends on Facebook shows that at least for the most part, people seem to understand the value of social distancing, of stay-at-home orders, and also the willingness to keep doing this as long as they feel that it's a necessary thing for public health.
And the tricky thing is that the risk will never be zero, right? So it's not like you can say, okay, we've locked the door and the bad guy's outside and now we can go out and go about our lives. I mean, so everybody, every state, every country, every municipality, every person is going to have to make that call by themselves. And it's going to be very, very confusing, interesting as it goes. I mean, they may open barbershops tomorrow. And despite the fact that I probably need to go, I may not go. To the barbershop because of my own level of comfort. So everybody's good. It's going to be very confusing.
Yeah, and hopefully going forward that we will change how we do things, because I believe that I know and people are hurting out there. People need their paycheck for their rent, food, and bills and things like that. But hopefully after this, that we will be able to grease the wheel, so to speak, so that, you know, these unemployment benefits, so there will be no stalling with people getting their benefits and getting the things that they need in order to survive from day to day. And so there have been some hiccups with that. So hopefully moving forward that our government can figure out what they need to do. And God forbid if this ever happens again, I hope it doesn't. But if we ever get in a situation like this, that the help and the resources will flow smoother and quicker to the people who really need it, and people who are really suffering right now.
Yeah, by the way, I heard a phrase this week I hadn't heard before called distancing fatigue. A couple of studies out that show that apparently folks, at least in North Carolina, are feeling more comfortable with less social distancing than even a week or a month ago. It says that we were a B grade in Mecklenburg County a month ago. Now we're C-. In other words, we're doing less social distancing now than we were then. Overall, North Carolina got a D grade, D- actually, and had the biggest drop in social distancing numbers among all states, equal to Louisiana. And in Gaston, Catawba, Lincoln, Rowan, Iredell, Union, Burke, and Stanley counties, F grades for social distancing. So I guess it's in the eye of the beholder how much social distancing you're comfortable with, how much you think you need. and how much the nice weather is maybe encouraging us or convincing us to do what we weren't doing a month ago, and that is getting closer to each other. I don't know.
Well, and I think that that also gets to this question that we keep coming back to of, confusion and measurement, because at the same time that's coming out, we had the governor yesterday saying that we're on track to reopen in phase one, starting at the end of next week. We also had a really encouraging press conference from Mecklenburg County Health Director, Gibby Harris, who's basically saying, yeah, we're seeing that same trend in Mecklenburg County where we are on track to go with the state if they start reopening. So you have these studies coming out giving us different grades for how much social distancing we're doing that are based on cell phone location data.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have state officials saying that it seems like we're doing well and we are flattening the curve. So I think the old phrase fog of war really applies here. This is not a literal war, obviously, but we are right in the thick of it, and it's hard to see through that fog.
And some people think that they are just invincible. They think that it will not happen to them.
Mm-hmm.
I was out on a story and at the soccer field, and it was just packed. People were just coming to play soccer and things like that. And, and I guess with the confusion, they say, you can go outside and exercise. Oh, well, let me go out and exercise. Let me exercise with 20 other people, playing soccer. So I guess you have all of that. And I guess people just think that it will not happen to them. And so they go out and they push the envelope and get closer.
Was ESPN there? We're going to put it on TV. We need some.
I get no exercise at all, so I'm safe. I think I'm safe. Hey, speaking of things reopening, we heard from NASCAR this week, and indirectly from the governor, it looks like we will have racing again very soon in the next couple of weeks, and that the Coca-Cola 600 will run in Charlotte on Memorial Day weekend. Not exactly like we normally see it, but the return of NASCAR, I guess, a good sign in terms of potentially, maybe just symbolically, things getting towards back to normal again.
Yeah, I mean, the race without the infield fans, I mean, it's just, how does that happen? But again, how much does TV wag the dog, the tail there?
About 50% of the revenue, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. So, I mean, it's 50% is better than nothing, but
Zero, yeah. But you're also running a race without that extra 50%, which again, nobody thinks this is forever.
No.
But, with that lack of programming that's on the air right now, fresh sports programming in particular, I assume that NASCAR sees this as an opportunity to seize the moment and fill the void. So. Yeah.
And I think it's really going to sort of beg the question of, what does sports look like? What do events look like, even as we start to reopen? Because I don't think anyone thinks we're going to go back to, business as usual. No one thinks we're going to have packed stadiums or anything anytime soon. So, it really is this first event that we could see of its kind moving ahead as we start to reopen things. But, every sport's going to be different. Obviously, NASCAR is a little bit less contact driven, I would say, than others. But, it really will be interesting to see what goes on. But I do think it is a symbolic thing. Both political sides see it as a positive. But, we're just going to have to see what goes on.
Yeah, the governor says that he thinks it can happen. And again, on that Memorial Day weekend, for folks who are very concerned about Charlotte's image and Charlotte's profile nationally, with the Coca-Cola 600 being maybe the only game in town, the only fresh live sports event on television, it's really going to put the focus back on Charlotte, back on not just NASCAR and racing, but also the newness of this, and again, not a bad thing for the city's image once business is back to normal. And we're competing with all those other cities for all those eyeballs and dollars and everything else.
So you wonder if, like the NFL draft, and a lot of people watch the NFL draft, record numbers, if they'll have the shots behind the race of all the fans at home,
Mm-hmm.
1 million fans in their homes.
The questions about the RNC coming up again this week because of the city council's the necessity of them voting this week to accept $50 million in federal funding for the RNC. If the RNC actually happens, council members voted for it, close vote as usual. But even some of the folks who don't support the RNC at least saw the value of taking the money for now and then I guess, seeing what happens later, right?
Well,
My
it was a
policy.
it was a very close vote, 6-5, which also was the same vote for approving the RNC to actually come here. Slightly different council, but pretty much fell the same way as far as the vote. But yeah, it's a $15 million grant, and it's supposed to cover emergency operations, all the kinds of things that you would imagine. But had that not passed, the city would have to pick up the tab for that.
Right.
So. There was definitely, both on council night and afterward, I think some tension over the fact that it was so close and that it almost did not, sort of pass. Many council members said, and some members of the city said, look, like, we know that this is probably not going to look exactly as we originally imagined it. Does sound like CMPD is still planning for 50,000 attendees, but the RNC officials have said, masks, social distancing, whatever the guidelines will be in August. But they fully intend at this time to move forward with the convention. So, lots to be determined on that. But, accepting the grant is at least saying, we'll have this money, this fund, this source to cover some of those things.
Yeah, Mama said, leave no money on the table, right? So, so you have to, get the money. And also at that same meeting, I know Councilmember Malcolm Graham had requested, so besides the RNC, what else is planning? What else is on the books to come to Charlotte? And I guess kind of like there are 25 conventions, trade shows, conferences scheduled to come to Charlotte between the months of June and September. So I know he was saying, I did a story with him this week, that he wants to know, what will that look like? What safety measures, what procedures will be in place as we, thousands of out-of-town guests will come to Charlotte. By the time they land, at the airport, come in contact with the Uber driver, with the cab driver, with, the hospitality industry at the hotels. What will that look like? So I guess he wants to know, from state, county, local leaders, what measures will be in place. And also he's talking about what measures will be in place after they leave when it comes to disinfecting and cleaning, the convention centers and things like that, the places where these trade shows will be held. So more to come on that to see exactly what the new normal will look like to keep people safe after our out-of-town guests leave and go back home.
Yeah, I guess politics aside, if the RNC does happen in some way, shape, or form, what a great boost for the economy initially coming out of, obviously, some pretty dark times right now for small businesses in particular, who theoretically would have a lot of work and a lot of business to do with the RNC in town for that August convention.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot, especially in the hotel industry, who, they realize it probably won't be exactly what they anticipated, but they're almost really banking on that because they're struggling really bad right now. So I mean, we'll just have to see what goes on, but it would be certainly an economic boost that I think everyone's kind of wanting right now, especially for that industry.
Yeah, it really does. I'd really focus on, the hardest hit industries, hospitality, live events, food, catering service. These are the things that have really been wiped off the map. At the same time, I think there's so much uncertainty. If you look at August, that seems like, another lifetime away. We'll also be looking at how the school system comes back in right around that same time in August. And, I think it's really tough to see any large scale events like that going off, really for the foreseeable future. One thing I'm curious about is with this security grant, we mentioned disinfection, and we've heard from several agencies, CATS, other businesses, that disinfecting things and that routine does add a significant expense. Installing, shields, regularly disinfecting vehicles requires more personnel, more investment. I think it will be really interesting going forward if we start considering disinfection and biological shielding, more filtration, et cetera, as part of the security that we now associate with live events, just like metal detectors and armed guards.
Yeah. It's going to be a different looking society, a different looking world in a lot of ways.
It's changed everything.
Yeah. Hey, we got about 2 minutes left, and I really want to take a moment to talk about the 1-year anniversary out at UNC Charlotte and the shooting. It's a shame that we couldn't have the full anniversary moment that the university was planning, but there was a wreath laying, there was an online get together for the university community, and you know, it's hard to believe a year's passed, and so much has happened in that year. But let's not forget about what happened there, and those victims who you know, who fell to that. I know, Eli, you have a kind of a personal connection with your office being out there. Any sense of changes, different moods, different feelings a year after this?
Well, I know it's really unfortunate that a lot of the live events that were planned for this were not able to take place in the way that they'd been envisioned. You know, I think UNC Charlotte Chancellor Phil Dubois put it well when he said, "This is something that, you know, 1 year has passed. We're going to honor these victims, but this is not the last time we're going to talk about this, because this is part of the fabric of our school, our city now, part of our story." So, you know, although we did not have the in-person events this year, I think we're going to have a lot of opportunities going forward to honor the victims of this and honor the legacy of this community coming together.
Yeah, I know. I read online Phil Dubois, the chancellor, talking about when he heard about this. He said he was on a plane going to Indianapolis, got above 10,000 feet, opened up his computer, went to a UNCC website, and the first thing he saw were the words, "Run, hide, fight." And I guess that's, you know, that's the moment that every person, you know, fears, and the reality of that at 10,000 feet, you know, a university president, it's all of our reality, and it was our reality a year ago. And again, I'm glad that there was a moment, even online, to honor that. And I'm sure we'll talk about that more going forward. Again, hey, thanks for joining us, everybody. I know this is a difficult time for all of us, but it's good to be able to share this information and kind of see each other again. I appreciate that. Thank you for joining us at home as well. We appreciate your comments online. Just, get in touch with us at offtherecord@wtvi.org. Thanks for joining us this week, and we'll see you next week.
A production of PBS Charlotte.